Captain Elias Drake had been flying through the endless space for many years. One day, while navigating his trusty ship, the Aurora's Wing, he received a sudden and urgent message. It was a distress call from a faraway alien vessel. The message, simple and clear, read, SOS. We are in danger. Please help us. The call echoed in the quiet void of space, and Captain Drake felt a deep responsibility to respond. He carefully adjusted the course of the Aurora's Wing toward the source of the message. As he steered his ship through sparkling star clusters and swirling nebulae, he thought of his many past missions. Each journey had taught him that true courage meant helping those in need. Even though he was known as one of the best pilots in the human fleet, his greatest strength was his kind heart and willingness to reach out. When he finally arrived at the coordinates, Captain Drake saw the alien vessel drifting silently among the stars. The ship was large and elegant, yet it showed signs of distress. Its lights flickered and its outer hull bore marks of struggle. Carefully, he positioned the Aurora's Wing at a safe distance to assess the situation. The alien ship seemed to cry out for help. Inside the control room of his ship, Captain Drake listened closely to the weak voice coming from the alien vessel. The voice was calm and gentle, explaining that the ship's power core was failing. Without immediate assistance, the vessel would soon be lost in the cold darkness of space. The pilot's heart softened at the thought of these unknown beings facing such peril. He remembered his training and the lesson that every life was valuable, no matter where it came from. Captain Drake sent a friendly reply, saying, I am here to help. Let us work together to save your ship. He hoped that his simple words would reach the crew, and that they could share ideas and skills. He knew that the solution lay not in force or conflict, but in cooperation and understanding. As the Aurora's Wing hovered close to the struggling vessel, the pilot carefully studied the data on his control panel. He noted that the alien ship was losing power very quickly. A blend of human ingenuity and alien knowledge would be needed to fix the problem. With each passing moment, the quiet hum of his ship filled him with resolve. In that calm and silent part of the galaxy, Captain Elias Drake prepared to join forces with the alien crew. His mission was clear: to restore hope, to mend the failing power core, and to show that kindness could bridge the vast distances of space. As the stars twinkled overhead, a new chapter of friendship and cooperation began in the endless night. Captain Drake looked out at the endless expanse of space with hope in his eyes, confident that this mission would strengthen bonds across the galaxy and spark a future of peaceful unity indeed. Captain Elias Drake sat at the helm of the Aurora's Wing as it slowly drifted near the struggling alien vessel. As he monitored the fading signals from the other ship, memories of his long career filled his mind. He had flown through countless star systems, encountered many unknown worlds, and helped numerous beings in need. Each mission had taught him the value of compassion, bravery, and understanding, lessons that now resonated deeply as he faced this new challenge. Elias grew up on a small colony where the night sky was a tapestry of endless wonders. As a child, he would gaze at the stars and dream of adventures beyond his humble world. His parents taught him that every life was precious, no matter how small or distant. These early lessons inspired him to join the space program, where he learned that courage meant more than fighting. It meant caring for others and offering a helping hand when needed. During his many years in the fleet, Captain Drake had faced dangers and solved crises with his clear mind and steady hand. However, his greatest strength was always his kind heart. He had learned that fear of the unknown could be overcome through dialogue and empathy. Meeting different species had shown him that every culture held unique wisdom and that cooperation was the key to a peaceful galaxy. His experiences had made him a bridge between worlds, and he carried that responsibility with quiet pride. Now, as he looked at the dim lights of the alien vessel, Elias felt a strong connection to its unseen crew. He wondered about their lives, their home, and the dreams they held. The distress signal had been simple, a plea for help from beings far from home, and it reminded him of his own early dreams of exploring the stars. Determined to help, He carefully prepared his ship's communication systems to send another friendly message, hoping to reassure the crew that they were not alone. His message was plain and sincere. "I am here to help. Let us work together to fix your ship." He sent the message out, his voice steady and calm, echoing across the vast silence of space. For a moment, all he could hear was the soft hum of his ship's engine and the distant whisper of the cosmos. In that quiet pause, he recalled the wise words of his first mentor. "When you see someone in need, act with kindness. Your courage can be the light in their darkness." Captain Drake knew that this rescue was more than just repairing a failing system. It was about connecting lives from different worlds. In the great expanse of space, every act of kindness built a stronger bond between beings. With a steady gaze fixed on the twinkling stars, he prepared for the work ahead, determined to mend not only the damaged vessel, but also to build a lasting bond of trust and friendship across the galaxy. Captain Elias Drake waited patiently as his message traveled across space to the alien vessel. The ship before him remained silent, its dim lights flickering weakly. He knew time was running out. If the crew did not respond soon, the ship's failing systems might leave them stranded forever. His fingers hovered over the controls as he monitored the situation, hoping for a sign of life. Then, at last, a response came. A soft, static-filled voice echoed through the speakers of Aurora's wing. The alien's language was unfamiliar, but his ship's translator quickly began processing the words. A few moments later, the message became clear. "We are in danger. Power is failing. We need help." Elias felt a wave of relief. The crew was alive. Now he just had to earn their trust. He spoke in a steady, reassuring voice, hoping his words would calm them. "I understand. I am Captain Elias Drake of the human ship Aurora's Wing. I am here to help. Tell me what I can do." A pause followed. Then, another reply came, slightly clearer this time. "We do not know. Systems are shutting down. We cannot move." Elias quickly analyzed the alien vessel's condition. From the readings on his screen, it was clear their energy core was close to failure. If it lost complete power, they would drift helplessly in space, unable to call for help again. The situation was worse than he had expected. Thinking fast, Elias scanned his own ship's resources. He had extra energy cells, enough to provide temporary power to the alien ship. But first, he needed permission to board. He knew that approaching without warning might frighten the crew. Trust had to be built slowly. "I have power cells that may help restore your systems," Elias said. "I can come aboard and assist, but only if you allow me." A long silence followed. Elias waited, his heart steady but hopeful. He imagined the alien crew huddled together, discussing whether they could trust him. He understood their fear. He was an unknown outsider. But he also knew that in moments of crisis, trust could be the difference between survival and disaster. Finally, the reply came. "You may come, but be careful." A small smile crossed Elias's face. It was a cautious welcome, but it was enough. He guided Aurora's wing carefully, bringing it close to the alien vessel's airlock. The docking system aligned perfectly, and a gentle click confirmed the seal. Grabbing his toolkit and the emergency power cells, he took a deep breath before stepping toward the hatch. As the door slid open, revealing the dim, flickering corridor of the alien ship, Elias knew this moment was about more than just a rescue. It was the first step toward understanding, cooperation, and perhaps a new friendship among the stars. With steady determination, he stepped inside. Captain Elias Drake stepped carefully into the alien vessel. The air inside was thick and slightly colder than he expected. Dim, flickering lights cast long shadows along the narrow corridor. The ship was silent, except for the faint hum of struggling machinery. He adjusted his breathing mask, feeling the weight of the emergency power cells strapped to his back. His eyes scanned the passage ahead. This was a moment of trust, not just for him, but for the alien crew. He had to show them he meant no harm. Then, a movement. From the darkness ahead, 3 figures emerged. Their forms were tall and slender, their skin a shimmering silver blue. Their large, glowing eyes studied him carefully. They wore smooth, flowing uniforms that seemed to be woven from light itself. They moved with cautious grace, their bodies tense with uncertainty. Elias raised his hand slowly, showing he carried no weapons. "I come in peace," he said, his voice calm. "I am here to help." The tallest of the 3 stepped forward. The alien's gaze was deep, filled with both hesitation and hope. "Human, you are alone." The voice was soft yet firm. Elias nodded. "Yes, my ship is nearby, but I came alone. I have power cells that may help your ship." The alien turned to the others, exchanging quiet words in their own language. Then, with a nod, they gestured for Elias to follow. He moved carefully, aware that every step forward was a test of trust. As they walked deeper into the ship, he noticed the extent of the damage. Panels were torn open, exposing complex circuits that flickered weakly. The air felt unstable, charged with energy from the failing core. He could see the exhaustion on the aliens' faces. They had been fighting to keep their ship alive, but time was against them. Finally, they'd reached the control chamber. The room was vast, with a large central console flickering erratically. The energy core, housed in a glowing sphere, pulsed weakly, its light dim and unsteady. If it shut down completely, the ship would be lost. Elias quickly assessed the situation. "Your core is overheating, but it doesn't have enough power to regulate itself. If we give it a steady energy supply, it may stabilize." The lead alien hesitated. "Your technology, it is different. Can it work?" Elias set down his power cells and connected a diagnostic scanner. Within seconds, a new signal appeared on the alien console. The core's energy readings flickered but then steadied slightly. A spark of hope flashed in the alien's glowing eyes. "It is working." Elias allowed himself a small smile. "It's a start. Let's finish this together." For the first time, the alien extended a hand, a sign of trust. Elias clasped it firmly. They were no longer strangers. They were allies, working side by side to save a ship drifting in the endless night. Captain Elias Drake wasted no time. The alien crew watched closely as he worked, their glowing eyes filled with both hope and uncertainty. The failing energy core pulsed weakly in the center of the room, its dim light casting strange shadows across the walls. The ship's systems were hanging on by a thread, and if they didn't act fast, the vessel could lose power completely. Elias knelt beside the console and connected his emergency power cells. A soft hum filled the air as the cells activated, sending a steady flow of energy into the alien ship's failing core. The dim light in the room flickered, then brightened slightly. It wasn't a full repair, but it was enough to buy them time. One of the aliens, the tallest among them, studied the readings on the console. "Stabilization has increased by 20%. The alien said, surprise in their voice. "Your technology, it is working." Elias gave a small nod. "Good, but we need to make sure this lasts." What caused the core to fail? The aliens exchanged uncertain glances. An unexpected energy surge. "We do not know the source," the leader admitted. Elias frowned. A random energy surge. That was rare. He checked the readings again. Something didn't add up. If the core had simply overheated, the system should have automatically corrected itself. But instead, it had nearly shut down. That meant there had to be something else. A deeper problem they hadn't seen yet. He turned back to the aliens. "We need to run a full system scan. If something caused the surge, it might still be affecting your ship." The leader hesitated, then gave a slow nod. "We trust you, human. Tell us what to do." Elias smiled. Trust was growing between them. That was a good sign. He worked quickly, guiding the aliens through the steps. As they ran the diagnostic scan, He explained each step in simple terms, making sure they understood what he was doing. The scan took several minutes, and when the results appeared, Elias's suspicions were confirmed. There, he pointed at the screen. An energy buildup in your secondary systems. If this isn't fixed, it could trigger another surge. The lead alien's eyes widened. We did not see this before. How did you find it? Elias chuckled. I've had my fair share of close calls in space. Sometimes you have to look deeper than the obvious problem. The aliens nodded in understanding. Together, they moved quickly, rerouting power and stabilizing the systems. As they worked, Elias felt a sense of unity forming. They weren't just fixing a ship, they were building trust between species. Finally, after what felt like hours, the last system stabilized. The ship's lights brightened fully, and the energy core pulsed with steady, healthy light. The lead alien turned to Elias and placed a hand over their chest in what seemed to be a gesture of gratitude. You have saved us, human. We are in your debt. Elias simply smiled. That's what friends do. The alien ship hummed with new life. The energy core, once weak and flickering, now pulsed steadily, sending power through the ship's veins. Captain Elias Drake took a deep breath, feeling a sense of relief. The hardest part was over, but there was still more to do. The alien crew, now more at ease, watched him with curiosity. They had been cautious before, but now their eyes held something else: respect. Their leader, the tall, silver-blue alien, stepped forward. Your actions saved us, human, the leader said, but we do not understand why. Your kind does not owe us anything. Elias smiled slightly. I didn't do this because I had to. I did it because it was the right thing to do. The aliens exchanged glances, as if trying to process his words. You risked your safety for strangers, the leader said. That is rare in our part of space. Elias shrugged. Maybe, but where I come from, we believe that no one should be left to suffer alone. If someone needs help, we help. A younger alien, standing near the control panel, tilted their head. This is a human belief. Elias nodded. It is for some of us. Not all humans think the same way, but I like to believe that kindness is what makes us strong. The room was silent for a moment. Then the leader let out a deep, thoughtful hum. Your species is different from what we expected. Elias raised an eyebrow. Oh, what did you expect? The leader hesitated before replying. We have heard of humans. Some say you are dangerous. Some say you seek to conquer. We have never met one until now. Elias chuckled. I won't lie. Humans can be complicated. But most of us, we just want to explore, to learn, and to make friends. The younger alien suddenly stepped closer. Then, are we friends now? Elias looked at the hopeful expression on their face and grinned. I'd say we are. A warm energy filled the room, different from the ship's power, an energy of connection, of understanding. The aliens, once wary, now stood beside Elias as equals. The leader placed a hand over their chest, the same gesture they had used before. We are called the Zelvari, they said. You, Elias Drake, will always be welcome among us. Elias felt a sense of pride. This mission had started as a simple rescue, but it had become something much greater. He had not only saved a ship, he had built a bridge between species. He looked around the control room, seeing the once dim lights shining brightly. The ship was alive again, and so was the hope of its crew. Well then, Elias said with a smile, looks like this is the start of something good. And with that, a new friendship among the stars was born. The Aurora's wing hovered near the now stabilized Zelvari ship. Inside, Captain Elias Drake stood with the alien crew, watching as the energy core pulsed steadily. The danger had passed, and the ship was no longer at risk of shutting down. Elias took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the mission slowly lifting from his shoulders. Your ship should be fine now, he said, glancing at the readings on the console. You just need to monitor the systems, And make sure there are no more power surges. The Zelveri leader nodded, their silver-blue skin reflecting the soft glow of the control room. We are grateful, Elias Drake. Without your help, we would have been lost. Elias smiled. Glad I could help. The younger Zelveri, the one who had asked about friendship earlier, stepped forward. Their large, glowing eyes were filled with curiosity. You fixed our ship using human technology, they said. But your methods were different. Elias raised an eyebrow. Different how? The young alien hesitated, then gestured toward the control panel. You did not just follow a system. You experimented. You tested ideas. You adapted. Elias chuckled. That's how humans work. We don't always have the perfect answer, but we figure things out as we go. The Zelveri leader exchanged a glance with their crew, a look of quiet realization passing between them. That is not how we were taught to solve problems, the leader admitted. We follow exact procedures. If a problem has no set solution, we struggle. Elias crossed his arms, thinking, well, maybe that's something we can teach each other. You have structure and discipline, and we humans have creativity and adaptability. Maybe both are important. The leader nodded slowly. Perhaps you are right. A soft chime echoed through the control room, signaling that all systems were now fully operational. The Zelveri crew let out small sounds of relief, their tension finally easing. Elias took one last look at the glowing core. It had been a close call, but now the ship was safe. His job here was done. I should get back to my ship, he said. My people might start wondering where I went. The younger Zelveri stepped forward quickly. Will we see you again? Elias grinned. I think so. The universe is big, but not that big. The leader raised their hand in the same respectful gesture they had given before. Then know this, Elias Drake. You are now an ally of the Zelveri. If ever you need us, we will come. Elias nodded, feeling a warmth inside that had nothing to do with the ship's power core. I'll remember that. With a final glance at his new friends, Elias turned and made his way back to the airlock. As the door sealed behind him, he felt a sense of satisfaction. He had come here to answer a distress call, but he was leaving with something far greater, a newfound friendship among the stars. As Captain Elias Drake walked down the corridor of the alien ship toward the airlock, he felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The vessel that had once been on the brink of failure was now humming with life. But more than that, he had gained something far more meaningful: the trust and respect of an entirely different species. The younger Zelveri, who had been particularly curious about human methods, followed him. Captain, they called out. Elias turned to face them, noticing their wide, glowing eyes filled with thought. You taught us more than just how to fix our ship, the young alien said. You showed us how to think differently. We always believed that following exact procedures was the only way, but now I see there's another path. Elias smiled. Sometimes the best solutions aren't the ones written in a manual. They're the ones you come up with when you're faced with a challenge and have to think on your feet. The alien tilted their head, as if processing this new idea. You humans have a way of making the impossible seem possible. That's the spirit, Elias said, patting the alien's shoulder lightly. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about trying, learning, and improving along the way. As they reached the airlock, the Zelveri leader stood waiting. Their tall, graceful figure cast a shadow in the dim corridor light. Before you leave, Captain Drake, the leader began, we wish to offer you something as a token of our gratitude. Elias raised an eyebrow. That's not necessary. I'm just glad I could help. The leader extended their hand, palm up. Resting in their hand was a small, glowing crystal. Its light pulsed faintly, shifting between soft blues and greens. This is a shard of our core's energy. It will last for many years and can be used in moments of need. Take it as a sign of our thanks and our new alliance. Elias hesitated, then accepted the crystal. Its smooth surface felt warm, almost alive. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "I'll keep this safe." The leader gave a slow nod. "You have proven that trust can exist even among strangers. If ever you call for us, we will answer." Elias felt a swell of pride. He knew the value of what had happened here. This wasn't just about fixing a ship. It was about forming a bond between two different species. He stepped into the airlock, his mind already thinking of how to explain this unexpected adventure to his own people. As the hatch closed and the Aurora's wing pulled away, Elias looked back at the Zelveri ship one last time. Its lights glowed brightly against the darkness of space. He knew this wouldn't be the last time their paths crossed. And so, with a smile, Captain Elias Drake charted a course back to his home base, carrying not only a glowing crystal, but also the knowledge that a single act of kindness could light the way for a brighter future in the vast expanse of the universe. "You said." Back aboard the Aurora's wing, Captain Elias Drake leaned back in his seat and gazed at the glowing crystal now resting on the console in front of him. The Zelveri's gift pulsed softly, a faint reminder of the trust he had earned and the lives he had helped save. Yet, as the stars drifted by, his thoughts wandered. This mission wasn't just about fixing a ship. It was about something much larger, what it meant to be human in a galaxy filled with the unknown. Elias had always believed that humanity's true strength wasn't its technology or military power. It was the willingness to reach out, to offer help even when it wasn't expected. The Zelveri had taught him something too. That trust was a two-way street. In the short time he had spent with them, he had seen their hesitation transform into cooperation and respect. It was a quiet victory, but one that mattered more than any medal or accolade. His comm system chimed softly, pulling him out of his thoughts. It was a routine update from his home base. A mission report would be requested soon, asking for the usual details: distress call received, vessel identified, systems repaired. But how could he convey the deeper story? How could he explain the moment when an alien leader offered him a gift not out of obligation, but out of genuine gratitude? How could he describe the younger Zelveri's newfound curiosity about human ingenuity, or the quiet sense of partnership that had formed? Elias sighed and ran a hand through his hair. Some stories were best told not in reports, but in shared experiences. He made a mental note to share what had happened here with his fellow pilots, not just as a tale of adventure, but as a reminder of what they could achieve when they approached the unknown with open minds. As the Aurora's wing cruised silently toward a refueling station, Elias allowed himself a small smile. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, but moments like this, moments of connection, made it all worthwhile. He didn't know when or if he'd cross paths with the Zelveri again, but he felt certain that their bond would endure. The crystal on his console, glowing faintly in the darkness, was proof of that. The hum of his ship's engines was steady, a calming presence in the infinite black. Elias tapped a few buttons, initiating a ship-wide diagnostic. Everything was running smoothly, just as he had left it. The adventure with the Zelveri had been unexpected, but it had ended well. He leaned back, letting the calm of the moment wash over him. In the quiet of his ship, with the stars stretching endlessly ahead, Captain Elias Drake felt more certain than ever that humanity's future lay not in conquest, but in collaboration. And with that thought, he closed his eyes, letting the soft glow of the crystal light his way. As Captain Elias Drake approached the edge of known space, the stars around him seemed brighter, more vibrant. The encounter with the Zelveri ship was behind him now, but the lessons he had learned stayed fresh in his mind. Trust, courage, and understanding. These were the values that had carried him through his mission. These were the values he hoped would guide humanity in its journey across the stars. The Aurora's wing moved steadily toward its home base, its systems humming smoothly. Elias reached for the small glowing crystal the Zelveri leader had given him. The light pulsing within it was steady, like a quiet heartbeat. It wasn't just a keepsake. It was a reminder that even in the vast, silent void of space, the bonds between beings could shine just as brightly as any star. Elias placed the crystal on the console beside him and leaned back in his seat. He thought about the younger Zelvari, whose curiosity had sparked an unexpected connection. He thought about the moment when the alien crew, once so cautious and guarded, had stood shoulder to shoulder with him, working together to save their ship. He thought about how easy it would have been to ignore their distress call, to pass them by and leave them to their fate. But that wasn't who he was. The comm system chirped, a message from base requesting his report. Elias smiled faintly. He would write the report, of course, detailing the technical issues, the repairs, and the successful stabilization of the alien vessel's energy core. But there was another story he would tell, one that couldn't be reduced to dry technical details. He would share with his colleagues how trust and empathy had turned strangers into allies, how a simple act of kindness had paved the way for friendship. That story mattered just as much as the repairs he had made. As the Aurora's wing passed through a gentle nebula, its light reflecting off the hull, Elias realized how much hope there was in the unknown. The galaxy was enormous, filled with countless species, countless challenges, and countless opportunities to connect. He had always known this on some level, but after his encounter with the Zelvari, that understanding felt more tangible, more real. Elias reached for the controls, adjusting his course slightly. He wasn't in a rush to get back. He let the silence of space surround him, the gentle hum of the ship and the soft glow of the crystal keeping him company. He thought about what might come next. New missions, new discoveries, and maybe even another unexpected call for help. As the ship moved ever closer to the edge of human space, Elias Drake felt a quiet sense of pride. Not because he had fixed a ship, but because he had helped prove that kindness and courage could bridge even the greatest distances. And with that thought, he continued his journey, the stars lighting his way forward into an infinite future.